Yo, what's up, Derek? Sorry, I'll be ready in just a second. Just getting everything set up over here so I can read comments and stuff. Stupid autocorrect. It's all good, man. It's all good. Nobody even saw. All right. Y'all ready to get started? Let me get all this stuff. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. I'm gonna actually raise that monitor up, just throw that camera up just a tad. It's cutting off just the top of my head a little bit. Nobody saw that. Whew. Stream is just starting and it's already warm in here, so that is not a good sign for us. Need to start wearing darker shirts. All right. Well, as you guys might have noticed, we have an all AMD build here today. In case you didn't read the overview, we've got a 7900X. We've got a 7900 XT from AMD GPU. We've got some Team RAM, and we've got this MSI Pro X670 motherboard. We also have an added contact frame, so this is very similar to the ones we've been using for the LGA 1700 stuff. Basically just gets you a little bit better cooling because you can get solid, even contact on the CPU all around the die. So really good stuff. They're only like 10, 11 bucks. If you're going high end and you want to get just, ever so slightly better performance out of it with better thermals, it's always nice to do. To be fair, get bodied. What is the purpose behind the build? That thing is a monster. This is going to be DK Link's new game PC. I believe she already has a stream PC, so this will be, or no, she's going from single PC to dual PC. So her current PC is going to become her stream PC, and this thing is going to be her gaming monster build. Good call on editing down. Dude, I know, right? I found a new sound because let's be honest, it was rough. It was way too long and impossibly loud. So yeah, I was very happy when I found a new sound that was neither long nor absurdly loud. There's also a couple of fun new sound bites if you haven't been in here in a minute. So if you want to look around for some of those fun sound bites, there might even be one. Dare I say, there might even be one with some potty mouth in it. So you can look around for that one. All right. Yeah, straight gaming. I guess it'll be fine for gaming. Does it have a flux capacitor? Wes, I don't think I can hand out that sort of IP sort of stuff. It's on the down low. Got me? Yeah. There we go. Whoop. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the CPU, but in order to do that, we need to take off all this good stuff. Does it run on plutonium? Thankfully, no. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, it does not run on plutonium. Oh, I meant to post on Twitter that I was starting this. Hang on 1 minute. I even took a picture just for posting it on Twitter. I don't want a GIF. Oh, I don't want that either. Good lord. Hold on, chat. Not ignoring you, but I'm kind of ignoring you. Just for a minute. Should I go 7950X3D or 13900 for single PC gaming and streaming rig? Ooh. Honestly, I would probably go 7950X3D just because it's got so many cores that like you're not going to get hurt by not having like the reason why I would have like pushed people away from like the 5800X3D is that it only had 8 cores, right? So even though you really benefit in gaming from that 3D cache, you lose out on a lot of the benefits of having a ton of extra cores. But the 7950X 3D is going to have so many cores that, I mean, you don't really suffer there. So you might as well go AMD. Because gaming-wise, it's going to be so much better. Okay, hold on. I'm share, copy link. Go. All right, I did it, chat. I did it. Okay. Why is there a clothes hanger on my floor? I'm sure it's my own fault, but I don't want it there. All right, so let's take care of this. So we just need one of these, like star-handled ones. Is it technically a Torx? I guess it's technically a Torx. And we'll use that to pull off the retention brackets that this comes with, and then we'll replace the retention bracket with the contact frame. You're ignoring for sure? I'm so sorry. AMD's the way. I agree. I love AMD. Although I feel a little guilty saying that, and like right now, both of my PCs have Intel CPUs in them, but it just like kind of just had to do with what I had available at the time. Like I actually have 12700Ks in both my game PC and my stream PC right now. But it really did come down to like what I had available. Come on. Here we go. So we just need to borrow those screws. They'll come out. Don't tell me they're like, they have a retention feature or something. Do they really? Alright, well hopefully this AMD contact frame comes with screws. Okay, it does. Thank goodness. It even comes with some Thermaltake paste, which is nice. I don't need it, but it's nice to have. Look at those hands. These are the soft hands of someone who builds computers and sits at a desk all day. Legit excited to build my next PC after watching you. Gonna be a couple years with the next one I'm taking on in your honor. I love that, Fraser. I'm gonna pull this up a little closer too. Hopefully it doesn't really get it into frame, but it should make the audio a little bit clearer. Okay, so let's get our CPU in there. Now that we got that taken off. Looks like I'm gonna have to try to get one when they release. Yes, sir. They release in like a week here. So, I mean, historically, it's been very hard to get AMD CPUs on release. I mean, I guess everything's kind of hard to get right now when it releases, but it shouldn't be too bad. Well, the 5950X has been available for forever, but every time they drop new stuff, like AMD, every time AMD drops like a new CPU and stuff, it takes a while for it to really sit in stock where you can get it all the time. What do we have in this bad boy? So we've got a 7900X, a 7900XT. We've got this MSI motherboard. Not now, thank you, baby. We've got a 1TB SSD, some CL30 6000 megahertz, mega transfers, whatever, per second, RAM from Team, and then we've got a 280 millimeter AIO from EK. If you don't know, EK is like one of the best in the business for their like custom water loop stuff, and they have been making the all-in-one coolers for a couple of years now, and they make really, really good stuff. Clap those chips. All right, so we're gonna install this guy here. Looks really weird installing this like just in the socket when there's nothing else like around it, but there it is. It's that easy. Give it a little wiggle, a wiggle test. We'll make sure it's in there. It's all good. Yeah, they release next week. Boop. And this contact frame just goes right over the top of that, and it comes with 4 bolts. And then you just bolt it in the same way that these retention bracket was bolted in. And I'm just gonna toss that in my box of many things. Had no clue they made AIOs. Yeah, they make really good AIOs too. They're a little bit on the spendier side, but I mean, coming from EK, like it's gonna be high quality. If you want one that's like not overly expensive from them, you can go with like their non-RGB versions. Their non-RGB versions are a pretty significant discount compared to the RGB ones. So if you just want the performance and don't really care about the RGB, you could go that way. But their RGB ones look really, really cool. And they actually just dropped a new version of this guy. So this is what it looks like here. So they dropped a new version of this guy, and like the new like CPU pump housing actually looks really, really cool. Okay, so we got that in there. Let's get our M.2 in. We don't need this at all anymore. That's all we needed that for. We'll be using our LTT screwdriver from now on. It's going to be a beast. It is going to be a beast, dude. This thing is sick. No pun intended. Love that you do these videos. I've been building PCs for over 20 years. Wow, that's a long time. All on my own or your relatives. Very informative. FYI, I was a master mechanic for 10 years too. Oh, no way. Did you have a specialty for like what you were a mechanic on? Like, did you do like domestic, European, Japanese, a little bit of everything, diesel? Love to hear about that. I used to work for Daimler, and they make Freightliner Western Star trucks. So a lot of my career has been very involved in the automotive world as an engineer. So it's always interesting to get to talk to people from the similar space. Didn't have those computer hands until I switched to software development. Yeah, dude. AMD guy myself, but I've been wanting to try Intel here lately because I can keep my DDR4. Yeah, that is one of the it was an interesting move for AMD to make. I mean, it's probably for the best. It means that they're only supporting one, set of RAM and stuff. So it's like fewer motherboard stuff to deal with, less development work. But I definitely see the pull of being able to stay DDR4 because DDR4 right now is still, it's still cheaper. Or if you just, you have it, like I carry a good amount of DDR4 stock all the time. I don't know why I opened this. This is not what I'm looking for. I actually need to open up the closet here for a sec. So I forgot to pull this out earlier. This is a Mushkin Vortex 1 terabyte. This hits about 7,000 megabytes read-write. Really, really fast Gen 4 stuff. And it is pretty cheap. I get these at like wholesale costs, so I get them probably about half of, depending on the day, I get it for about half off of what you would see it for retail. So pretty nice. Any idea on a fix for dev errors when you enter the BR menu? They said they patched it for some people. Well, they said they patched it, so I don't actually know. I'm not like super software related. I'm not even gonna get that close, so I'm not gonna bother. I'm not really like a software guy. Like I understand software fairly well, for like, cause I have to for my job and stuff, but I'm not in any way, shape, or form like a software developer or anything like that. I don't know what it is about these MSI boards. This is the second one I've had where the toolless thing for the M.2 is like it doesn't work. Like it gets in the way, so I actually have to take it off and then install the M.2 and then install this on top. So it kind of defeats the purpose of calling it toolless. So you stick that back on. Oh, let's switch this back over. Like, I don't know if it's these Mushkin SSDs are like out of spec or what's going on here, but this is the second time I've had this happen. Okay, now I can tighten it. So weird. Currently running at 11th gen Intel 7. How big of a difference will I see if you upgrade to a 13th gen i9? Bro. Huge, huge, huge difference. The number of cores that you have, the boost clock that you have in it. You will need probably a significantly better CPU cooler. Like you only want to go high end with like a 360 millimeter AIO, or you might want to try and find. There's a handful of 420 millimeter AIOs out there in cases that can fit them. You're gonna want like as much cooling as like humanly possible. Oi, oi, what's up, Brian? How you doing? World's treating me pretty well. How are you? Depends on your bottleneck. If it's CPU, it'll be big. Oh yeah. That is assuming that like your GPU and everything can handle it. Yeah, thank you, Grims. I kind of spaced that part of the question, but yeah. So, assuming you've got a good GPU already, like high-end 30 series, maybe high-end 40 series, or an AMD, yeah, you will see a fairly large difference in performance, assuming you're not already bottlenecked by your CPU. When I switched from construction to engineering, I went from having calluses on hands to having them on my butt now. Bro. I hear you, Casey. I hear you, man. I'm the same way. I love EVGA. Dude, I was really sad to see EVGA backing out of the GPU business, man. They were the best. I like MSI GPUs, not their motherboards. Interesting. Had a really bad experience with MSI many years ago. Won't buy anything with their name on it. Yeah, there's a handful of people that I've heard that have had that. I haven't really had any bad experiences in the couple of years I've been building with them, and I've used a lot of their stuff in my builds and haven't really had any customer complaints with it. So, yeah, I use them a lot. With the newer stuff, it seems that they're not the best necessarily for some of the controlling bits. So like some of like the chipset stuff and like controllers, it seems like Gigabyte have pulled ahead in that respect. But yeah, interesting. The LT720 is very nice. Yeah, as far as like, man, paying for your buck, the new deep cool coolers they're insane. Hey, what's up, Manny? Thank you, sir. You're welcome. That sucks. I want them to partner up with AMD. Now that would be so nice. I would love for them to start making AMD GPUs. Okay. So we've got our SSD in, we've got our RAM in. Sorry if I'm like, I don't know if you guys want me to like necessarily talk through everything I'm doing or not. It's kind of up to you guys. Usually when commenting is super quiet, I like tend to try and like talk through more what I'm doing, just so that it's not like utter silence. But you guys are being nice and talkative, so I can just kind of respond to your guys' comments as I put things together. Okay, so we've got all that in. Let's take a quick look at our AIO. It's been a while since I've used one of these EK AIOs, so I want to double check their method for installing the bracket and stuff on here, because it may be that we can pre-install some hardware before we put this into the case and make it easier on ourselves. Running a 1080 Ti ain't gonna do much. Oh yeah, if you're running a 1080 Ti, you're probably GPU bottlenecked already. But it is one of those things, like you could upgrade your CPU now and upgrade your GPU later. You're not gonna realize a ton of that benefit right away, Oh yeah, drop that. All right, how are we doing AMD stuff here, sir? All right, got a bunch of bolts there. Looks like the Intel bracket, maybe. Okay, so we've got our AMD pieces there. 2011 stuff. That's Intel stuff. Screws for our brackets. We want that. There we go. These are 1150X and AMD screws. Interesting. It's amazing they were able to pair those two up. And then we've got a nice little splitter here. Okay. So let's put everything back that we don't need. We don't need this Intel stuff. Don't need that Intel stuff. We are going to need thermal paste. We are going to need all the rest of that. We don't need this. This is for Intel. Not bad, man. A buddy of mine was considering a new PC, so I steered him your way. Brian, you are a freaking legend. Thank you, sir. Appreciate any people y'all send my way. You have a 3080? Oh, yeah. You should see a difference with a 3080, for sure. Okay, since we've got all this here, what we're going to do is we'll pull off these brackets, and then we'll bolt these in, and then we'll be good. Got a 3090 Ti. Woo! And a 1300 power supply. Spicy. Better than what I have. I just have a lowly 6900 XT. Vibing, bro. I love it. Dude. I don't know if you guys know how much I just enjoy building computers, man. It's so much fun. It's the best. Good bounce today. You're good? All right, cool. Cool. One thing I like to do with these as I'm pulling off these brackets is I pull off just one and then replace the bolts on it, and then that back plate doesn't like come loose or move around at all. Nice build going. Quite the components list. Yeah, dude, this build is a monster. It's a monstrosity. The item you viewed is available from Best Buy. Thank you. All right. And just double checking everything's working there. All right, cool. Pull that off. I mean, after watching this, I'm going to have to record my next build. You should, dude. It'd definitely be interested in watching, like other people's builds. I don't have a lot of time to like necessarily watch them sometimes, but like if you post a video of it or something and let me know, like I'd love to watch it. It's always interesting, like seeing if there's like, you know, different techniques that people use, or like different, order of operations, maybe stuff like that. And after my last debacle, I may have to have you do my next one too. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah, you had a little bit of a rough time there. All right, so that's everything we need to do here. Let's pull out this case. This is the bequiet Pure 500 Base DX. Pure Base 500 DX. It's a mouthful, is what it is. But it's a really cool case. I think in the world of like tons and tons and tons of RGB everywhere, I am a fan of bequiet's method. So they've got a couple of nice little LED panels up front, and then they've got some interior LED like RGB lighting. And then what I've done on some of my builds, like my signature build was in this case, we went with the older Lee & Lee uni fans that do a similar sort of style to the front here, where it's just like kind of like a strip of lighting rather than like in your face. And I really, really like how that turned out. It's more subtle, like more classy in my mind than just in your face tons of lighting everywhere, you know? Okay, let's get that off. Get our accessory pack out of here. We're gonna pull the front off right now, and it's gonna be a bear, and it's gonna sound like I broke something, so I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god, it always sounds like I broke it. Fine, everything's fine. Oh. You needed some lo-fi beats going while you build? Oh, we could do that, Vicon. We could do that. You know, I'm always willing to, you know, say yes to a nice request like that. All right. I don't know if that's tickling your fancy, but hopefully it does. You guys hear that? Wait, hold on. Hey, yeah. How does that? Is that like okay audio level wise? If anyone has never built a computer and they game on one, it's an absolute must. It's a very addictive hobby. My media PC plays Warzone with 130 FPS on 120 FOV. Yeah, dude. It's pretty amazing. Is that a decent audio level? No sound. What the heck? Hold on. Okay. Now we can hear it. Hear it? There it is. Sounds great. Okay. Cool. Retro wave station. Yeah, this is Paris Heller. Ugh. I think that's the one I want to go with myself too. Oh my god. See, every time it sounds like I broke it. Sounds like I broke it, but it's fine. It's totally fine. Nothing's broken here. I don't know. That's like the one. I would consider that an engineering mistake on their end. They should definitely fix. Okay. All right. So first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna install this I/O shield. Spot on, no joke. Let's go. Rocking a 5.1 Zonar audio card, and speakers can actually hear some foot. Oh, really? Interesting. I just have my Go XLR, and I also like. I probably don't have any room to complain because I wear like in-ear monitors, but I don't like wearing big headphones. You know, like I have my Logitech G Pros that I got. That I won from Stone Mountain forever ago. But I don't like wearing them over my head if I don't have to. Okay, let's slide this in here. Gently and carefully. Okay. It's pretty good. There we go. And we're seated. Can't see your second video feed unless that was intentional. Oh, it was probably, I was just, I wanted to make sure that sound source was on every one of these things. Hi, babe. Thanks for saying hi in the YouTube chat. If you guys didn't know, we are live on Facebook and YouTube right now. So if you're so inclined, you want to make sure you're sub into the YouTube channel. We are working on motherboard before PSU. Yes, I prefer to do motherboard before the PSU. So I like to put this in, put the CPU cooler in, put the CPU power cables in, maybe even the motherboard power cable in, and then I'll put in the PSU at the end. I don't know if that's like necessarily the best way, but that's my preferred method, and it usually seems to work pretty well. Alright. See, this is what I mean, like, it's always interesting to see different people have, like, different methods, and I'd like to see how you'd like put one together like that, like what the different like strategy is, and see if that's something that like I want to do, you know. Is this one mine? Jose, no, this is not yours. This is the same case as yours, but yours is getting built on like Thursday or Friday. But this is the same case, so this is the case that yours will have as well, just slightly different innards. It's a weird word to use, but I've got Logitech G Pros, but I don't like the weight on my head too, so I have them around my neck for the mic if I ever use it. Oh, interesting. What do you use for plastic clips of cases? Snapping scares? Yeah, oh dude, it scares the living crap out of me sometimes. Teach their own. I just always do the PSU first. Helps me visualize the cabling better. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Get all these guys started in here just to make sure there's nothing in the way. Hopefully that top one is... Top fan almost looks like it might be in the way. The other thing that I don't particularly love about this case, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, that I don't absolutely love about this case is you can't, like in actuality, it said... Ooh, that. Kind of like I just crunched something. Everything's fine? Everybody's fine? Alright. Is while it has support for a 280 millimeter radiator on top, you can't actually put one there because, or I mean, you would have to take the rear fan off. So that is probably one of the few downsides of this case, in my opinion. So you have to actually put the AAO up front, which is not ideal. It's not terrible, like it's not, it'll still work. It's just like, not quite as good, you know? I just upgraded my motherboard from a B560 to a Z590 ROG Strix, and I finally got my 11700K to 5.1. Oh, nice! That should make a pretty big difference that now that you can actually like overclock your motherboard, yeah? Yeah, dude, I'm trying to remember who I was talking to. But they had like they had a PC that they got from like a really big system integrator, like HP Omen or something, and Omen installs their own custom BIOS, which locks you out of even doing things as simple as like enabling XMP. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you guys really locked the motherboard down so tight that people can't do anything with it, and they have to basically come back to you and pay more money if they want like all the performance that their PC even could have. Like the performance that their PC should have out of the box, and you like held them back. Couldn't believe it, man. All right. Double checks these real quick. I think I tightened them all the way now, but I'm paranoid. Yeah. That one's done. Yep. Yep. Yeah, huge difference, dude. I believe it. That's another one of the, like, I have a lot of complaints about like a lot of these bigger system integrators from everything I've seen. Like I've never bought one from them, but like yeah, artificially limiting the performance of your stuff is just so dumb. Alright, we'll put this back up. Alright, so our motherboard's all in. I'm going to do all of the front panel I/O in and kind of get it relatively cable managed. I'm going to turn this light up a little bit too, otherwise it might be kind of hard to see. Alright. Oh, just came out. I will have a Rednek PC built one day. Yes, sir, Mr. Thunderhead. How you doing, Dan? How you doing? Locked to your proprietary stuff sounds like an app. Oh, I know, for sure. just so dumb. Alright, so let's get all this front panel I/O stuff in. I'm gonna start with the HD audio per usual. Down at the bottom left here. Pull that down. We've got a USB 3.0. Where that is on this case, or on this motherboard. It's actually down on the bottom on this motherboard. It's usually too tight to go right down, so we'll probably run it on a... Oh wait, they've got a secondary one right there. Okay, cool. That's even better. So, got a secondary USB 3.0 right here. We can run to, assuming there's space to actually like insert it without breaking the pins off. There we go. There we go. A little bit of a tight bend on the back, but not the end of the world. I've only built 2 PCs, and I'm nervous to swap my parts over to my NZXT H9 case. You got it, dude. You got it. I mean, you can always send it to me if you want to pay for it, but a lot of money in shipping to send me a PC to do that work. All right, USB 3.2. Yo, what's up, Ty? Any recommendations when it comes to AMD versus Intel when it comes to gaming? If you're getting ready to build a PC, I would say in a week's time, when the 7900 or when the 7000 series X3D CPUs comes out, get one of those. If you don't want to spend that much money, go with an AMD 5800 X3D, best bang for your buck for strictly gaming. And then you can get some really high-end, like CL14 3600 RAM, get a good motherboard, and then, you know, pick a GPU of your choice at that point. It's a good time to slow down, get it done, take the time to make it nice, cable rounding, etc. So refreshing to get a new rig built, not bought. Yeah, for sure. And kind of like moving from one to the other is probably going to be a little bit easier than building a brand new one. And I've got a video up on YouTube now, Justin, that shows looking at about $1,200 to spend. Okay, so with about $1,200, I would say you probably want to go with either like a Ryzen 9 5900X and like a 3060, or like a 67 or 6800 XT, or you could go with like a 13400 with like DDR4 and like a 3060 Ti or something around that sort of realm, and that'll get you like high-end 1080p gaming for stuff like Warzone, some like non-competitive type like non-FPS type games. You could play 1440 with that. AM5 is probably the way to go right now, but if your budget is only $1,200, you're probably better off saving some money by sticking with AM4 or DDR4 and getting like a little bit higher end stuff that's slightly older, and then you can get some pretty good performance out of that. Ripped to my 2K a year ago. I know, Fraser. I know, dude. If it makes you feel better, my 6900 XT that I like kept from my business because nobody was buying it was $1,800 when I got it. Yeah. Let me just say that one more time. My 6900 XT. Oh, sorry. I should switch to this. Was $1,800. Yeah. Okay. That makes you feel better about the foolishness of how much prices were last year or 2 years ago. It was crazy. What's the difference between mine and this one? This one is like super high end. Like yours at 1440p should be pulling anywhere from like 130 to 150 FPS in Warzone. This one should be doing 220. Why can't I see what I'm doing here? Like, are my eyes just like not working right now? Ugh, there we go. Front panel connectors on. Go. Front panel power and power LEDs. Good. And then all we have left back here is we've got a SATA and we've got this RGB connector. I think we'll try running this RGB connector to the bottom of the case. Got one right here that we'll go to. I feel you. I paid. You paid what for a 6800 XT? I'm used to console, and I mainly want to play all the Game Pass PC games. Okay, yeah. So Ty, check out my website, rednekengineer.com. It should be linked in the overview. And go to like the custom build form, and you can fill out like a custom build list where I just curate a build list for you based on your budget. And I can put that together for you, and then you can like buy it at your leisure. No one could get the 3080 for the actual $799. Oh, for sure. I got like one or two for the actual MSRP back then. Like I got my 3070 for MSRP, Founders Edition, which is why I still have it in my stream PC today, because it's amazing. All right, I'm gonna kind of like start my cable management just a little bit here, just to kind of get this stuff where it doesn't hurt my brain. And then what I like to do is I kind of get the cable management started a little bit, and then as I like go along and get further along in the build, I'll kind of just add stuff to these runs, and it makes it a little bit easier for me. Okay, let's put our CPU power in up top here, and then we can move this front fan up top, and we'll get the AIO installed. I'm ashamed to say how much my 3080 Ti cost. It's okay. It's okay. This is the safe place. $850 for the Merc 319 XFX from XFX. Yeah, dude. That's the same model I have for the 6900 XT. It was stupid expensive. Like, stupid expensive, alright? I feel you. Have no fear. Honestly, always stay just a gen behind for budget. That's fair, man. I mean, it's not a bad strategy. Got your 3090 Ti for $1150. Shut up, Brian. Just kidding. Oh, that's awesome though. It's crazy how much cheaper the 3090 Ti got as soon as like 4000 series started coming out. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't that good anymore compared to that. Same with my 3070 Ti. Yeah, dude. 3070 Ti was expensive when it came out. Thanks for the jams. Anytime, man. I'm glad at least you guys can hear him, because I can't. Cheaper than your 3080 Ti. Yeah, right, Grims? It's so sad. The nice part about my 6900 XT was I had it sitting on the shelf for so long that, like, by the time I finally was ready to just, like, use it in my own build, it didn't matter anymore to my business, right? Like, it was just... It was, like... It was so long... It was paid for so long ago that, like, at that point, it didn't... You know, it just, like, didn't matter anymore, you know? It wasn't that big of a deal anymore. Alright, so... Got motherboard power... we've got our SATA power, got our silica gel, another SATA power we don't need that, we don't need more SATA. Okay, there's CPU. The heck? Why is PCIe red? Alright, I guess we'll go with the red theme to the colors. Alright. A couple of those. Looks like it only comes with one CPU thing here. We might actually use both of these just in case, but it's not a big deal. The amount of power that you can get through one of these connectors is more than enough for the CPU we have, even when you're overclocking it, but Never hurts to have both. Yo, what's up, Steve-O? I mean, it's not really ASMR because I haven't shut up the whole time we've been in here. My first computer was a Timex Sinclair 1000 and a Commodore VIC 20. God, those are so before my time, Brian. Like you don't even know. I was able to play Oregon Trail on the Apple II PC. I wanted to learn programming, but more importantly, girls in sports came first. Yeah, for sure. What an idiot. I felt the same way, Tom. I mean, it was a different time. Yeah. I didn't care too much about any of that. Which, like, now I kind of regret. But also, like, I'm still, like, I'm a successful engineer. Like, I've been a mechanical engineer for, I graduated college in 2015. So I've been, working in the industry for mechanical engineering for 8 years now. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much it would have changed much about, like, my life's trajectory or not. Who knows? Like, I enjoy, like, some basic coding and stuff, but I'm not someone who really wants to, like, write code for my life, Or even, like, design hardware for a computer. I do enjoy building them, though. God, can't see. This fan is... Okay. I know I'm gonna have to put this fan back immediately, but it's in the way. I can't see that second connector, so we're just gonna pull it out real quick. What's your GPU? Got my PC in today. Just got everything plugged in and turned on. My son said, "Wow, hate to bother you, but I may have missed it." But oh, what's the password? Oh yeah. What GPU do you have? You have a 3060 Ti, right? Then it's 3060. Your password was my GPU model number. Yeah, Fraser's got it. They all are, Fraser. They all are. One of my uncles might still have mine. An NQL printer. First PC was a 3700X and Asus 3060 Ti. I just got into PC a couple years ago. Yeah, same here. I had mine was a 3700X with a 2060 Super that I built for like $1,300, and then I upgraded the. I had the stock cooler on it for a while, and then I upgraded to a Corsair 240 millimeter cooler, and then I jumped up to 32 gigs of RAM because I had 16 originally. And then I, gonna get this thing aligned here. And then I jumped up to a 2070 Super. That was right at the beginning of the GPU crunch when I built my first like PC for someone other than myself. And then I eventually upgraded that to the 3070 that I have now. Have to get a little tricky probably with that to keep that from touching my fan back here, but see how that goes. All right, we'll get this reinstalled here. Actually, this fan might just kind of hold that at bay. Cool. Dude, adjustable standing desk is so nice for these builds, man. I tell you. If you guys should go back and look at one of my like OG build streams, because my setup back then was so awful. I was working on a desk like half this size. I had like the crappiest little like webcam that I was trying to use for like showing everything. Like the lighting was terrible. You couldn't see anything I was doing. It's amazing that anybody even watched those old ones. First builds for me were an Athlon 1800 that I OC'd to XP 3200 speeds. And unheard of. To have gigs of RAM, more like 512 megabyte was crazy. Yeah, that makes sense. I always wanted the Noctua. Oh, dude, I wanted that so bad, Justin. I wanted to make like an ugly PC, you know, quote unquote ugly PC with that Noctua GPU, all Noctua fans. God, that would have been so cool. I mean, I'm sure it still exists somewhere. You can probably find one on eBay for like stupidly expensive money, but remember SD-RAM? PC1333. Oh yeah. SD-RAM was a bit before my time too, to be honest. Alright, so we've got that power in there. I'm gonna pull out this front case fan while I've got the desk down low, and then I'm gonna stick it on top. My secondary PC is the Noctua air cooler, works great. Oh yeah, Noctua makes great stuff, man. The other thing that Noctua does really well that makes it like so nice to use is they have their like compatibility list with like every CPU known to man, and so you can look at literally anything and be like, oh, okay, this can do, like, this is capable of cooling this CPU, maybe at base clock speeds, or like it can be overclocked. My God, would you just sit still, fan, so I can undo the screw? Okay. Actually, well, just the fan, not a cooler. Should still have access to all those cables, even with this on, yeah? Yeah? Let's see. Oh yeah, I still got access to all that. Okay, we're good. Nice and quiet quality components. So true, dude. So true. Oh my gosh, Geraldo! Or Gerald! I don't know why I called you Geraldo. That's my bad. Gerald, thank you so much for the 500 stars. I didn't even see that earlier. I'm just like barely I'm like monitoring chat. I wasn't even looking at that. Dude, thank you so much. Love my Noctua fans. Upgraded from those stock EVGA fans. Temps have been like 5 degrees cooler and quieter. Yeah, dude. Noctua knows what they're doing, man. They really do. Fraser, you like, your computer isn't even like what I originally built for you anymore. It's not, you can't even call it a Rednek build anymore, really. It's a Fraser build at this point. I always do air-built rigs, just not into the AIOs, and you overclock. Wait, so do you overclock everything though, Grims? Sorry, I couldn't quite tell if that's what you're saying. I mean, if you have a good AIO, you can overclock. Like, there's, you guys know as well as I do. Like, just because it's air, I think that's one of the funny misconceptions of a lot of like streamers these days. Like, oh, if it's not water cooled, like, will I, have as good a performance? Like, yeah, get a Noctua NHD15 or something crazy, and it's gonna be better than your 360 millimeter AIO. I wonder if I should get all Noctua fans for the H9 case. Ooh, you should. I mean, it's expensive, but you should. Okay, so we've got all that installed. I think we can get the these 3 fans plugged in. So let me run this guy. All I did was the RAM, AIO, fans, and GPU. Did you upgrade the GPU too? Oh, and power supply. So everything. I guess you didn't do the CPU, but... okay, so this is pretty long. Should be able to reach down to the base here. Alright, where are our fan hubs? So we've got 2 system fan headers here. What am I holding on to? Holding on to that one. Got a couple at the bottom. Definitely have more than enough, and these cables, thankfully, are actually pretty decently long. So we'll take these 2 and run them to the side here. So these will get hidden by the motherboard power cable once we get it in. Or the ML 120mm Corsair. CPU, GPU, and RAM all OC'd? Yes, sir. What's your RAM brand of choice? I used Team for a long time. I lately have used a lot of Mushkin because I have a partnership with them, so I get their stuff, like their CPU or their SSDs and RAM for a really good price. I think I'm gonna try and stock some of their DDR5 stuff soon because they've got pretty solid DDR5 stuff that I can get for like 120 bucks, like CL30 6000 for 120 bucks for a 32 gig set. Like, come on. But yeah. Didn't touch motherboard or CPU. Barely did anything. G-Skill primarily just because I've never had an issue. Yeah, see, G-Skill, my problem with G-Skill is like, performance-wise, amazing. I would say 1 in like 12 of the G-Skill, 1 in 12, maybe 1 in 15 G-Skill RAM kits have come in dead on arrival. Like, I haven't had any other company come in with that many dead on arrival pieces before, and it's just like, it kind of pushed me away from them for a while. Is Corsair RAM bad? No, it's kind of expensive, but I wouldn't call it bad in any way. Corsair is kind of like Corsair RAM is kind of like all Corsair stuff, right? Like, it looks good, it has pretty decent performance. It's just like the price to performance is always high compared to everything else, right? The other nice thing about it is like they tend to. That happened with 2 Corsair PSUs for me before I gave up and went back to EVGA. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of true with all of the Corsair and like Elgato type stuff, right? Like, they make it like look good. They make it like pretty easy to use with their software, and their performance is like decent, but like the price to performance is always like it's not great. But you're not necessarily paying for the price to performance. You're paying for like the software and all that other stuff. Interesting how this like motherboard power supply cable is like fully split. Pretty uncommon. Running the Cooler Master Air MZ624 Stealth. Now, found a rest that showed it outperformed the Noctua. Oh, interesting. Okay. Like, it outperformed like the Noctua and HD 15 or whatever. To pull you tight and get you looking better. There we go. That looks a little bit better. That split cable does not make for like a very great looking thing there, but not really much I can do. My secondary PC is running Mushkin, would buy again. Yeah, they do great. Like, they're not like the best. They're not terrible. They're good. Hey, what's up, Girl Dad? Thank you so much for hanging out in the YouTube channel. How you doing, man? What is the liquid CPU cooler? The one on this one is 280 millimeters from EK. The one in yours is same size, but from Deep Cool. Okay, so we got all that stuff in here. Now is usually about the time that I would put in. Oh. And with your 1300 GT PSU split cable. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't necessarily love it. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm gonna leave this out just in case there's something funky with the CPU cooler. Sometimes they do weird stuff. All this extra foam out here. Dude, what an amazing build. I know, isn't it, Patrick? Makes me want a better build myself, but again, you eat at your own you eat of your own supply a little too much, and next thing you know, you don't have any money, so can't be doing that. How much would this build be, but with an XTX? So let's see. Let me look at my phone on how much this one actually cost, and then I could give you a rough estimate there. So after the partner discount, this was $3,000. That includes an optimization from Trap. So the 7900 XT is like $800, and then you're looking at probably close to $1,000 for most of the 7900 XTXs. So 30, call it 3250 ish, maybe 30, maybe like 3300, because I would probably upgrade the power supply too, because this is the 850 watt. If you get an XTX, I would put in a 1000 watt. Where's your ground cable bracelet? I don't use it. I have one. Actually, funny enough, so I watched a video a while back of how how hard it is to actually damage components with static. It's actually really hard now. It's not super easy to damage your computer components with static anymore. The other thing, it's actually pretty long. Let me look at this. This guy is pretty long. I wonder if it will reach with the tubes down. Because again, ideally, keep the tubes down. Just don't know. Like, it technically would, it reaches, technically. But, once you get a GPU in there, I don't think it reaches anymore. No, we'll have to go tubes up. Again, like I said at the beginning, not ideal, but it will do. It will do. It will do, pig. It'll do. I'm not gonna lie, I bought one, but I never got to use it. Yeah, I don't use it, to be honest. I have one, I just don't use it. Because it's so difficult to actually damage components these days. Unless you're like rubbing your feet on your like carpet and stuff, and then trying to like specifically touch stuff. Pretty difficult to ruin your stuff that way. What was I looking for? Speaks. Yeah, I have one. It came with so it came with this kit. So my very first like screwdriver kit thing that I have. I don't know what I did with it. I must have moved it. The very first like cheap little screwdriver that was like kind of a knockoff of like this iFixit one that had like 4 or 5 bits with it. Came with this anti-static like wrist strap, grounding strap thing. So that's why I got it originally, and I did use it at first. And then I did some research, and I was like, this is dumb. I'm not using it anymore. Wonderful explanation. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, dude, anytime. I don't remember what I explained, but anytime. Oh, interesting. So this comes with 2 lengths of bolts. But why? But why? I think we can use the shorter bolts. I don't know why we would use the longer ones. Maybe if we had to bolt through metal and these fans, we would need those. But we shouldn't need them for this application. An old... As long as the workstation is grounded. Oh wait, hold on, I missed something. He's touching the case, he's good. The workstation is not grounded. It's fine. Freezing? He does meditation and chakra work to stay grounded. One thing was I had to lift the front fan, but it still doesn't touch the case. You have a photo album of followers' builds, right? Yeah, I do. I've got a bunch of, yeah, there's a bunch of them that have been posted to Facebook. I have a bunch of like the build videos that are posted to Facebook, and then my my website has a decent gallery of them as well. So I've got them kind of spread out here and there. Have I dropped anything yet? Believe it or not, Girl Dad, the minute I started the stream and was like, all right, let's get all these boxes off of here, I knocked over the RAM. So, yep, I did. I'm a Linus Tech Tips in the making, Girl Dad. I can gladly say. I thought it was a pretty good choice too, because he started rubbing his hands across the carpet fast. Fans you have for your case are Lee and Lee. Dude, the daisy chain thing that Lee and Lee uses is so nice. It looked like someone at like CES this year, like Fantex or someone else, was coming out with a similar design, and I think they even they were like magnetic, like they snapped together like magnetically or something, which was crazy. Maybe sandwich it between a bracket. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Gerald. Gerald, now that I know you're in here, thank you so much for the 500 stars, dude. I didn't even see it earlier. Otherwise, I would have totally called it out. Thank you. Once again, thanks for the jams. I love these build streams. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I have like a full album that's like, these are all customer builds, but I should probably do that at some point. Stopping in for the engagement. What's up, Matt? Need to upgrade my RAM. So broke right now, though? Oh, dude. Well, let's... what kind of RAM are you rocking right now? Alright, I'm gonna feed these through here. Tight fit. Hey, we're in a tight spot. Alright. So, sorry, you guys only get to see the front right now because I need to be able to reach to the front and tighten up these screws here. Let's get that guy out of the way a little bit. And there. Here we go. Get all these little screws separated. RAM is pretty cheap right now. It is really cheap right now. The gamer PC that I have on my website, I think that RAM was only like 50 bucks, maybe 55 bucks for 16 gigs of CL16 3600. It was crazy. And even this RAM that I have in here, this DDR5 RAM was like 160 bucks, something like that. One interesting thing to note with the higher end DDR5 stuff, if you know how to tune RAM, you don't need to buy the like stuff that's faster. As long as you get like this is like CL30-6000, it uses like the exact same chips and stuff as the higher speed stuff does. They just run it at a higher speed, higher latency, like for Intel. So if you want to save money, you just get one of these that has the same chips, just XMP'd or whatever to a different speed and latency, and just tune it yourself. I need 32 gigabytes looking at DDR5. Yeah, this was like 160 bucks for this team game RAM. I only have 2 8-gig sticks. Yeah. Well, and for gaming, like 2 8-gig sticks is all you need. But they don't actually make 8-gig sticks for the DDR5 stuff. At least not of like the higher end stuff. You see a difference between setup for pushing or pulling fans for the radiator? I've never done any like A to B testing of it. In terms of like from an engineering perspective, it really shouldn't matter at all. I've heard that pull through the radiator is easier to clean. Yeah, in terms of like from like an engineering perspective, pressure across the radiator is pressure. Like all you're trying to do is you're trying to create a pressure differential to pull air across the radiator. Whether you're doing that from the front or the back, it doesn't matter. As long as it's sealed up well, you should be fine. So it doesn't really matter too much. I know a lot of people, or a lot of times I'll put the fans in the front of the radiator, depending on the case, because then you get that nice fan RGB that shows through the front of the case. So a lot of times I'll do it for aesthetic purposes. But on this one, I think this case looks a lot better with just that simple LED strip that they put in the front panel. So I don't care where it goes. Probably something I should check first, eh? Such a bot. Yeah, what a bot. Yeah. Oh yeah, if your motherboard doesn't take DDR5, like you can't upgrade to DDR5. I think you're stuck with DDR4 from what I remember. Definitely take a look. Bro, you're still on DDR3. Scorpion, bruh. We gotta get you on some DDR4. Or even 5. I just got another 32 gigs of DDR4. Give me a total of 64. Yeah, Justin. Oops. Didn't do that. You didn't see that. Can I get some of these power cables out of the way so this sits flat? All right. Okay, that's the right one. Get these bolts out of the way that we don't need. We'll do some of this. I have a spreader around here somewhere. Question is, what did I do with it? You don't need to spread the stuff out ahead of time, but okay. Rogstrix B550F, you can only do DDR4. Yes. It's gonna be all watery? No, it's not. Okay. Ooh, what's your guys' favorite method for putting on the old goop? What do you guys like? Are you like a pre-spread it? Are you like, X marks the spot? Cross with some dots around it? I want to know what you guys want to do. I'll leave it up to you guys. Yeah, it better be the same brand and speed, all that good stuff. Yeah, Matt, I would go, if you want to get like better, faster RAM for your setup, get like CL14 3600 and get like a 32 gig kit or something. Glad you stopped in now. I'm glad you did too. I didn't know you could tune RAM. Yeah, you can tune all the timings and stuff on RAM. I mean, if you don't get like a high-end kit, then you will not be able to tune those timings down. And like some of it is, silicon lottery. Dots with the cross for sure. All right, let's do it. Might have been a little heavy-handed on that first corner. Like that? We good with that? I feel like I went a little heavy-handed up here in this corner. I'm gonna spread some of that love around. Purposely went a little light in the rest of it to compensate. All right. We'll go with that. I always run performance tests on my builds So if I put too much, I'll redo it. Not difficult. I thought the X is supposed to be the play. There's all sorts of stuff. I mean, like, honestly, you can get away with just like doing the like put a grain of rice in the middle and you're good. Man, this knife is so dull. Yeah. Hey, this plastic is so friggin' dulling. I don't know. Ugh. Yeah, thank you. Dots with cross. Nice dude. My jump from 16 to 13, 32 was 9 day. Yeah. I would like to tune my RAM if it would make it better. I mean, yeah, like it depends on what you have. I mean, Grims could probably tell you even better because I don't really get into overclocking stuff myself. But yeah, it really just depends on what you have. Oh, you guys. It came pre-applied. So we're just gonna get this CPU die real nice and clean. Okay. I don't know how I didn't see that before. Well, if you guys wanted to know how to clean your CPU die, rip! Take a little rubbing alcohol. I'm almost out. This is also my household rubbing alcohol. It might be easier to like wipe some of it off first. Like a different cloth. Got that mostly clean here. This needs to get clean. That needs to go in the washing machine now. All right. Woo! Oh yeah, it smells good. Okay. So I am human, turns out. It really is 9-day difference, at least I could tell. Yeah, and it kind of depends on what you're doing with it, but yeah, it can make a big difference. Okay, so now that we're done making stupid mistakes, let's figure out how we're gonna mount this thing. This thing feels like it's all twisted no matter what direction I go. So I would like to go this direction, and then we're up against the fans. Here, I don't know why I can't seem to visualize it this way. So we're gonna pull it up for a second. So I might have to pull this cooler down. Like I would love for it to be as high as possible, but in order to attach my my CPU cooler properly. You guys can't hear that, but the fans, the lines are actually rubbing that fan right now. So I need to pull these down. I need to pull this down a bit so that these lines are not rubbing on this front fan, because that would be bad. It'll sound awful. You'll know right away if they're rubbing. Really wondering if I should put my radiator on the side, pushing out. You want it pulling in, ideally, on the side. Just for, like, general, like, airflow characteristics of the case. Typically, like, I guess it depends. You're doing an H9 flow case, right? So, for yours, you would want to pull air in from the side there, pull air in from the bottom, and then exhaust out the back and exhaust out the top. You can put your CPU cooler on top or on the side. It should fit either. It should fit either spot. On top is always preferred if you can fit it, because all the air bubbles that like are in the radiator, like naturally, like they can't get 100% of the air out, and the water will kind of evaporate over time. you want the radiator on top, so all those air bubbles get trapped on top. In the orientation I have mine, there's the potential that like later on, some of the air bubbles that might otherwise get caught in this top tank could make their way down into the CPU cooler, like go along across the block, and that just means lower cooling efficiency. And if too much of it gets in there, you can ruin your pump. It's kind of unlikely, but you can ruin your pump that way. Because pumps don't like air. It's on any side or front exhaust top since heat rises. There you go, that too. Wait, you can leave this one on. All right, so we'll drop it down there. So we're still, the tank on here is still above where the cooler is. So we should be okay. I'm gonna put it just kind of at the very tip there. But we probably dropped it about, I don't know, 1/3 of an inch by doing this. And that will hopefully alleviate these tubes from rubbing the fans at all. Get these tightened up. I do it on top. Can I do push-pull if you have the flow? I don't think there's room. I don't think there's room to do push-pull in that case on top. I don't think there's enough room vertically. Unless... oh, actually, you know what? You can. So there's a nice deep kind of reservoir sort of like thing on the top of that case underneath the top panel. And so what you'll probably want to do is you'll go fans underneath, radiator, and then the bracket that holds that in, and then on top of that bracket you could put your other fans, and there should be space for that. I haven't done it in that case, so you know, don't hold me to that absolutely, but I tightened these all prematurely. I thought I was lined up well enough. That looks good. Yeah. But yeah, and Ty, you can actually go play, like, there are Discord servers and stuff you could go to where you can get that information for free based on the kit you have and what your system is, on like what timings and stuff you should put into your BIOS for your RAM. You know, it's not gonna work 100% of the time. Like, you may, you know, lose the silicon lottery, and you know, your RAM might not be able to sustain the timings that, you know, they put in there, but yeah, it's worth it. It's always worth a try. If you're gonna try and get a little extra performance, and doesn't vastly affect the rest of your system. It's not like GPU or CPU overclocking where you have to like worry about the total power in your system as much, or like the amount of heat getting generated in your system as much, because RAM doesn't generate a lot of heat. So. If by side you mean front, then that should pull air in. On top, air should push out. So newer cases have spots with fans on, like, yeah, on the back wall, which would be the same as the front. Be back after the kiddo's bedtime? Hey, thanks, Fraser. Okay, so that's back in there. We should be able to fit this in without touching. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of a gap there. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in this orientation here. We need these brackets. I was thinking about just putting 2 fans behind the LT720. You need to do like an actual push-pull. Silicon Lottery is real, folks. They only guarantee what they sell it at. It's true. Like, they'll guarantee that it can XMP, I believe, to the value stated on the box, but anything beyond that is kind of, you know, questionable, I guess. I don't know. It's not a given. Same thing with like your CPU clock speeds. Like, some of them will overclock a ton and some of them just won't. If you mention the Intel support that you're running, if you mention to Intel support that you're running OC's memory, they void the CPU warranty. Really? Did not know that. Yeah. So you want to have like, so you can just use the standard 3 fans and you'll be fine. Or if you wanted to like, you know, add extra fans, yeah, you need to do 3. I would do 3 on each side. You don't want to. You don't want an imbalanced flow on your radiator. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but like ideally, you want balanced flow through your radiator. Otherwise, you get some weird heat characteristics. Temperatures are low enough, you probably don't have to worry about like premature aging due to, like, I'm gonna get real nerdy here. So premature aging due to like a thermal gradient. So like expansion characteristics of the metal can cause aging if like part of your radiator is at a vastly different temperature than other parts of your radiator. But that's kind of, shouldn't have to worry about that. That's just me being a nerdy engineer that knows too much about thermal mechanics and stuff. All right, stay. Yeah, after that issue I had, they dropped mine. Oh, really? That's unfortunate. You guys see what I'm doing at all? You guys see that? I don't know how well y'all are able to see this. You guys can kind of see it. All right, so, oh god, please don't do that. Please don't come out. All right, so what I like to do is do a little crisscross applesauce sort of thing here. So I'll do top right, bottom left to get these started. If you do 2 bolts right next to each other, the other 2 tend to pull away, and it just makes it harder to get them started. Excuse me. Yeah, you can do a push-pull. Just use 3 fans on either side for the LT720. The 240 should have 2 on each side. The 360 should have 3. The LT720 is a 3-fan config on each side. I think a Ryzen 360 would be able to push-pull in the top of a Lian Li LANCool 2 mesh case. The Lian Li LANCool mesh case I don't think fits a 360 AO on top. It might, but I don't think it does in my experience. Like, I think it technically fits, but I think you start running into like the VRM coolers and stuff on the motherboard. So you have to run it on the front. It should fit on the front, because you could do kind of like what I have here. You could do 2 fans, a radiator, and then you should be able to fit, or 3 fans, a radiator, and you should be able to fit the other 3 fans in front of the radiator in this sort of gap that's built in here. But I don't think you can do it on top. Gotta go grab my toxic L order, BRB. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a really good AIO, by the way, though, Amy. Amazing. It's a great AIO. Okay, so we've got our RGB right here. Where I'm going to plug that in, and then I'm going to feed this cable into the back of the case. Hopefully this little tiny cable, they made it too small. Also back there. Okay. We've got this, our little 2-prong thing that came with CPU cooler. Actually, I want to put the CPU pump fan in first. So pump fan is right here above that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of push this back of the case. Okay. Just make sure we leave that CPU fan slot sort of open. We're going to shove guy in from the back. Plug it in down there. I need to plug those fans in first. This way this won't fall into the interior of the case there. We'll do the NZXT fans that came with the case. Oh yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Because yeah, that case comes with 4 fans. That's honestly, that's like one of the big selling points for me on that case. On top of some of the other like nice features it has, but it comes with 4 fans. Like the Lian Li comes with 0 fans. Crazy that they didn't put a single fan in the Lian Li case. And they're almost the same price. Okay, I got that in there. Stick these guys towards the back. We'll have to kind of cable manage those in the back later. Okay, that's all in there. Taco Bell. Oh, the NZXT fans. They're pretty good fans. I haven't really compared them much with other stuff, but NZXT tends to make pretty good stuff, so you should be fine with that. Switching from the Noctua NHD15 to that AIO will be your first water cooler. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a great water cooler. Your Lian Li can't. Yeah, the Lian Cool 2 does. He's talking about the or I was talking about the Lian Li. So the comparable to the H9 Flow that Justin's got is the O11 Dynamic and the O11 Dynamic Evo. But those don't come with any fans versus the H9 Flow comes with the 3 fans that go along the back, like the back against, like next to the motherboard, and then it comes with the rear exhaust fan that match the color of the case too. Okay, so that's all back there. Do we actually, Interesting, so that didn't come with an RGB splitter. The fans do. So I think what we actually need to do here is pull out the RGB cable for CPU cooler, because that doesn't have a splitter. But the 2 fans, this is a mess right now, I know. Trust me, I know. These 2 guys came with a splitter on them. I also don't trust these connectors very much. So I've always got my electrical tape. And I think my scissors are not here right now, so I'll use my little clippers. Yeah. So take a little bit of this. Attempt to cut it with those things. Tear it. And then what we'll do, we've got these things together. You kind of stretch it tight just a little bit. And that keeps these things from coming apart. In normal use, they're not going to come apart. In shipping, they might come apart. I've had 1 or 2 kind of get disconnected in shipping. So, all right. And then, was that going to reach over there? Just barely. Woo! Okay. We'll do this one as well. Same deal here. I really don't like the 3 and 4 pin RGB connectors. I would love to see them get phased out, but there's just so much stuff built on them that I don't know when that would happen. Okay, got all those in there. I'll run that back into the case here. That stays for a second. And we'll pop that back into the spot there. Actually pretty tight. I know. What's up, baby? Sure. Okay. Thank you. When you ship them, do you put foam everywhere in the case? Yeah, so I have these expandable foam packets that I stick underneath the GPU, like, so it pops from underneath, and then it goes over the top and fills the whole case. That keeps the GPU from moving around and kind of keeps, in general, everything inside from moving around. Then I put the case back in its original box, sometimes with a little bit of, like, those air bag things, whatever those are called, and then put that box inside of another bigger box that's lined with foam and, like, industrial bubble wrap. And then that's how I ship it, with fragile stickers everywhere. Since I switched to that method, I haven't had anything show up with any damage to the computer. But prior to that, I did. Prior to that, I definitely had... I learned my lesson the hard way on how to, like, properly ship a computer. We'll just put it that way, I guess. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of do some cable management back here. We'll use a couple of zip ties and some cable ties. Yeah, so I'll just probably sit here and do some cable management. I don't know if you guys really want to see this, but it's also very hard to make it so you guys can see this while I'm actively working back here, but I'll do my best. I also try to, like, reduce the amount of zip ties I use, just because not ideal for, you know, if you ever have to rebuild stuff, but some of these small cables, it's nice to have a zip tie. Okay, and then I think these Be Quiet ones might be a little small here. Power sucks at sending them? Yeah, they do. That's one of the things of those big companies that I can't believe they still are not, like, proficient at, is just, like, they don't know how to ship a computer somehow, or they just don't care. I don't know which one it is, but they're garbage at it, man. Okay. Alright, so we've done a little bit more cable management here. I think we're good to the point where I'm going to plug in the stuff that we need for the CPU and GPU, put the power supply in, maybe route a couple more things, and then we'll get the GPU in and we'll be ready to boot it up. Never trust a shipping company and their insurance. No, never. I've fought for months trying to get money back from UPS to no avail. Alright, let's double check. I think this guy takes two inlet cables for power. Let's just double check that. Real, I spent $1,500 with them and got a crappy motherboard that's 3.0 and the GPU is 4.0. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the other thing that I don't like about a lot of these big name like system integrators, is they don't list their specs in full. So you never really know. Like, I'll have people like, hey, like, would you recommend this build? I was like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I was like, I can't tell you. Like, I can look at the picture, assuming the picture matches what they're actually going to give you. I was like, I don't know what kind of, I don't know if they're using a SATA SSD or a M.2. I don't know. I don't know, like, what brand of motherboard they're using. And half the time they don't even list the, like, the chipset model that the motherboard's using. Okay, this does have two connectors on it. I'm gonna leave it. What the heck is this thing? Like... ridiculous method for putting that in there. Stick that there for a sec. Good lord. Let's see it. One second. One second. Okay. Okay. The way they put this in here makes no sense to me. Literally, like, impossible to get it out. There we go. Came with this something in here. Ooh, it comes with its own little stand. Make sure DK puts that on. Did DK Link get the 79 series CPU? What do you mean? Days of anti-static bags are few and far between now. It's true. I mean, motherboards all have them still, but yeah, a lot of the other stuff doesn't. Which, given the robustness of computer components now, I mean, it speaks a lot to their robustness that they don't need anti-static bags. Okay, here you go. So this is a reference card from Asus for the 7900 XT, and it is, good lord, that's heavy. It seems to be made with a lot of aluminum. Like a lot of aluminum. There's no, oh. Wait, seriously? Hold on. Gotta be heat pipes in there somewhere, right? Doesn't even really look like there's heat pipes in here. Looks like it's just like a solid chunk of copper or whatever, with super long fins that get attached to the chipset and stuff. Weird. But yeah, she did get a 7900X. I was a little bit confused on the question. But yeah, this has a 7900X and a 7900 XT. Because yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, I've been cooking dinner. Hey, no worries. The other thing that I don't do is, like, you'll see a lot of the big system integrators, if they have two connectors, they'll do that, and they'll use both of the ones on the both of the ones on a single cable. Don't do it. Sorry if it doesn't look as good, but don't do it. Okay, so we'll plug that in. We'll plug our SATA power in. I think we only have one SATA connector, one that comes with the case, that we need to plug in. Yeah, so this is the 7900 rig. 7900X, 7900XT. Your base 7900 case? No, not really. But it is a good case. Speaking of the case, I'm gonna put this stuff back on it. I heard the 7K series CPU didn't add much performance. Well, you can only do DDR5 with it. 7000 series does not support DDR4 at all. But yeah, you do need to get like high-end DDR5 RAM in order for it to make a difference. The 7900X will see a few percent of improvement over the 5800X 3D. Like, it's not a huge jump up in performance. The reason why we went with it was because of like the longevity of the platform. That's kind of why we went with 7900X instead of the DDR4 with the 5800X 3D. All right, let's get CPU connected in. Get our weird motherboard connectors in here. What's the benefit of using two VGA power cables instead of the one with two connectors on it? Well, you might have two connectors on one side, but you only have one connector on the other side. And those connectors are rated for, like, the connectors and the cable ends are rated for a certain amount of power. So if you ever exceed that amount of power, which is likely on, like, a large GPU, you can start to melt cables and stuff. So you should really only use the one. It's not always going to be an issue. Like, there's... Oh, shoot. I totally forgot. I always forget about this case. You actually pull the back plate off. So I actually have to install the power supply this way, which means I have to unplug everything that I plugged in here, except for the GPU cables. Yeah, so that's kind of it's less a benefit and more of, like, a necessity. Otherwise, you can end up ruining your computer. Just because the power supply manufacturer says it's good doesn't always mean it's good. And it's that's me being, like, probably just being overly cautious, because that's just the way I am. But it's one of those things. It's like it's not worth risking damaging your computer for, you know, maybe looks, I guess. If you use EVGA 1000, I'll use one VGA line in both those connectors. Yeah, I would put your other line in if you can. Okay. So, the way this one works is slide this back in here. Okay, so you slide that in there. Put this plate back over the top. Love from Grims, can't stand from other page. Thanks for the content and walking us through the process. Hey, thank you so much, Chad. I appreciate that, dude. I really enjoy doing build streams. It is kind of like, it can be exhausting at times, but I really enjoy doing it. So I guess when I swap over my parts, I need to change that up. Yeah, it's not like imminent danger sort of thing for the most part, but it's good practice, you know? And it's the same kind of thing with, like, I wanted to put in two separate cables for the CPU, but it wasn't available. So the CPU, though, the max TDP of the CPU is, like, less than what one of these cables is rated for. So it's kind of a little bit different ball game there. Yeah, it does look better only having one if possible. The other thing you could do, Justin, is get, like, a cheaper set of cable extensions, and then you can run the two nice looking cables to your, like, you can run the motherboard, the GPU, CPU cables, and only the ones that are, like, look nice will be showing, and then in the back you can have the two separate cables with their, like, extra pigtails and whatnot, and it'll look a lot better. And they're like $30. Super cheap. They do make cable management tougher, but yeah, get extenders and clips to make it clean. I want white power lines as my PC is black. Ooh, with white accents. I love that. Okay, get that out of here. Okay. I think I'm going to end up needing longer cables. Well, maybe not the top one. Or longer cable ties. For at least some of these. These Be Quiet ones, while they're really nice, they're pretty short. And yeah, tend to leave a little bit to be desired there in terms of length. Okay. Like for this middle one especially, we're going to toss that one out. I've got a bunch of these cable ties there that are a bit longer. So what do I do with the hanging wire for the GPU? I usually just take like a zip tie or a cable tie and kind of shove it back behind the main like run and then like zip tie it there. So you'll see the zip tie. You'll kind of see the the extra connector, but you know, it shouldn't be super noticeable. Okay. Here's what I'm doing on the back there. Getting that stuff sort of managed and out of the way, you know, mischief managed sort of thing. And we're gonna run these cables out here. I think they're gonna be a little short. I think they're gonna be a little bit short for running over the top. Yeah, they do look like they'll be too short to run over the top of the GPU. These ones might need to go underneath. These is my red underneath the GPU. Just fine. Not the end of the world. What if you cut off that little dingy piece at the end? You could, but then you've got to use your you got to use like something to insulate those because those are live power wires at that point. Don't leave it exposed, but perhaps unpin it, remove the so you can if you wanted to like take the time to unpin it from the back of the connector, then yeah, you could do that. But at that point I would just buy some cable extensions. Personally. Okay. So we've got this SATA power cable here. Still needs to be dealt with. Okay. That's connected. I think what we'll end up doing here is take this guy. Something like this. Like that. Zip tie it together. Put it underneath there. That way, if you ever added some more SATA stuff on here, like a hard drive or whatever, you have the ability to just pull that SATA power thing out of the bottom and use one more of those connectors. Okay. Next, let's get this one. I will say the split motherboard connector might be annoying elsewhere, but for cable management, it seems to be pretty helpful. I don't think that's sticking out too far. Might need to kind of flatten it a bit, but it'll be okay. You're a legend, bro. Dinner's done. Got a jet, but thanks for streaming this. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out and being chatty in the comments. I really do appreciate it. It's always nice to have people to talk to while I'm doing this. So thank you again for hanging out, and I hope you have a good dinner. Adios. We're looking at mod mesh cables. Yeah. Yeah, mod mesh cables are really nice. Do a quick little zip tie for this guy here. Okay. Got a little bit of a nest down at the bottom of this, it seems, but not too bad. Kind of just have a large volume of cables, and there's only so much you can do. There's only so much I can do. All right, so at this point, let's get our GPU in here. Seen some on Amazon, just don't know what brand to go with. Asia Horse is fine. I think Antec makes some. If you want to go like higher end, you could go with like Cable Mod. They all do either full cable replacements or just I think they do cable extensions too. God, this screwdriver is almost too strong. There we go. Okay, got that all in there. Open up that. You always want to put it in the top PCIe slot. Probably need to take out. Usually you need to take these things out of the back so you can slide it in there. Okay. Pull that protective cover off. And then be real gentle. Got it. Okay. So we got that in there. We heard that nice click. That's the PCIe slot grabbing on to the board. So we know that we're fully seated. We're gonna get these guys back in there because these are gonna provide mechanical support to the GPU. And since this one is so heavy, like a lot of GPUs nowadays, we want to make sure we avoid sag in that PCIe slot at all costs. Can we be honest here? I love the smell and feel of fresh electronics. Ooh, yeah. Absolutely. I love that too. I love getting it too. It's like Christmas for me. So, I mean, because I built a decent number of computers, you know, I've always got stuff coming in from like Amazon and B&H Photo and Newegg and wherever, and sometimes, you know, like my like business suppliers, and it's just like, oh, it just feels so good, you know? Ooh, how does this thing work? Ooh, look at that. It's got like a ruler looking thing on it. Hopefully that'll there you go. See that? It's got like a ruler on it, so you can like mark your spot or something. So, oh, and it's magnetic on the bottom too. Cool. So we're just gonna stick that on there. Okay. All right, Justin. So I'm gonna show you what I do here. It's kind of interesting that these are red. I guess it works out that this is an AMD build. It also has some red on it. I'm like doing any sort of like, having to reef on the GPU a little bit, I tend to grab the GPU with one hand and do the other stuff with my other hand. That way I can make sure that none of that force is being transferred to the PCIe slot, or as little of that force is being transferred to the PCIe slot as possible. Like when I install this, that left hand is holding that from pushing in that PCIe slot. So what I'll do is I'll put it in like this. You can see that at all. So I'll put it in like this, and then I'll zip tie right around here, and then that stuff will be pretty well out of the way. It might not be perfectly out of the way. You can still kind of see it if you look for it, but it's, out of sight, out of mind a little bit. Yo, what's up, Trap? How you doing? All right. I'll show you what that zip tie method kind of looks like here. And then what I'll do, I'll zip tie it up. This. Slide it back. I'll clip it. Making sure not to clip the power cables at all. And then I'll kind of rotate it around so that the ratchet and stuff of that zip tie are, not really visible at all. And it's that easy. So you can see on that one side, it already looks really good. The piece down there, there's only so much you can do about it, but that's what it looks like. I really want to go with black and silver because I have the XFX Merc 319 6800 XT and it would match it. Ooh, there you go. Yeah, if you want to do custom colors, Cable Mod has a decent number of custom color stuff you can do. Some of these cable extension companies have some custom colors you can do too, though. Sexy system, dude, it looks so good. I'm definitely gonna have to benchmark this before we ship it out because I'm interested to see how she does. Yeah, dude, full out AMD. It's got the this is the the reference card for the 7900 XT, and then we've got EK for the AIO. Speaking of the AIO, did I ever fully tighten down the AIO? I feel like I didn't. I feel like I just got them all started. Let's double check that. %100% did not tighten those down all the way. Yeah, I think she only paid for like the standard tune. But you can work that out with her if she wants to do the full tune. This build with tuning was $3,030 or something like that after the partner discount. So I have a couple of like partnered streamers that have a discount code. So if you use one of those discount codes, you get 5% off the build. So DK was able to utilize one of those partner codes. I think before that it was like $3,300 or something like that. That face. Okay. Okay. That's definitely tightened. CPU, GPU undervolting, overclock, no worries. All right. Yeah, you figure that out between the two of you, but you definitely paid for the system tune, at least. So. All right. Well, put this guy back where it'll actually do something. Okay. Yep, that's solid now. Okay, do a quick little sanity check here. Just make sure everything looks okay. Okay, like that all looks all right. That looks connected. This is connected. All right, I'm just gonna flip the couple of zip ties we used in the back. Okay. You guys want to see it turn on? Are you ready for this? I need some fire or some just like red emojis in chat to get this thing turned on. All right. Looks great, Red. Missed the GPU, but I like the AAO. Yeah, dude. Doesn't that look good? Yeah, there we go. Some fire emojis. Do you need me tonight for it? If you want to do it tonight, yeah. That'd be cool. Then I can get it shipped out, like, ASAP. Alright. We ready for this? We ready for this? There it is. So you'll see the front. Front should have some RGB. Why is the front RGB not on? It wasn't plugged in all the way. Okay. Alright, so front RGB's in. It's alive! I had a client come over today. He went and bought upgrade parts, all AM5, and built a really nice PC for him. There you go. Definitely in the AM5 vibe train today. Yes, sir. Alright. There it is. It's a nice, classy amount of RGB. You can kind of see it coming up there on my hands, maybe. But there's RGB up top, too. There we go. It's alive! Those front RGBs act as status LED, like load, etc. I don't think so. All that is power and switch LEDs, and the switch LED or the power LED is just in the power button. So let's do a little bit of that. Oh no! I stepped on the cord for my camera. Oops. Okay. Here we go. And then a little closer. So there it is. Build completed. Yeah, that AKWB is beautiful. Put that down a little bit for it too. Yeah, any other like questions? Who turned out the lights? Stream's over, bye! Just kidding. No, yeah, any questions on the build or anything? Before we maybe find somebody, at least on Facebook here, that we can raid. G freaking G's. What do we think? That would be cool. I'm sure you could probably do it, but Yeah, no, that's... They don't serve that purpose here. Cool. Plain look, I like it. Yes, sir. All right, let's find somebody to rate on Facebook, huh? How can we get in contact with you if we want to build in the near future? Go to rednekengineer.com. Fraser, can you type in !PC for me? All right, so the way when that pops up, you were already on it. Let's go. Will it pop up? Is it being really slow? There it goes. So go to rednekengineer.com. You can look at the, like, there's the gamer PC that's on the website, or you can go and fill out the custom build form, where you can put in all the information that you, like as much or little detail as you want for your custom build. And then I'll get back to you with an email and a quote, and we'll go from there and discuss changes or whatever you want to do. Thank you, Fraser. I appreciate it. Oh, DK is playing right now. All right. We're gonna raid DK Link because this is her PC. We just finished building her new PC. So let's go over there, tell her how awesome her new PC is, and we will see you guys next time, all right? Bear in mind, his pre-builts are technically customs already. Yeah, everything's custom. Let's be real. Everything is custom because, yeah, like that's why I call them like pre-configured builds, because it's all custom stuff that I've picked and like curated, and then like bought in bulk to get a better price on it all for you guys. So, yeah, that's it. Handmade by Red. That's right, Gerald. That's right. All right, get on over to DK's stream. We'll see you over there.